Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Hope everybody is well today, Tuesday evening, 7:35 p.m. And here today with another live stream, as usual, coming from Madrid, Spain. And we're going to go through some of the main stories and comments that have caught my attention over the last day or so, and plenty of news as usual on the agenda here in Spain. Now, into the chat section. Firstly, we'll see what's happening there. We've got Marianne coming in from California, San Diego, and she's saying that there are elections there today in the States, and asking for everybody to wish them luck there in the United States. We'll see what happens with those midterm elections, I think they are. We'll see what comes from the midterm elections. Mugger coming in from El Campello, Rich coming in, Ola Rich, Mark from Sevilla coming in. Good evening, Mark. Hope all is well. Tony coming in from a wet and windy Ashford, Surrey, there in the United Kingdom. And what else we got? Dirk coming in from Villajoyosa, Alicante. And Philip coming in from Malaga. At last, back in Malaga, he says. Now, first piece of news that we'll look at today. This one here. Spain rejects criticism over slow spending of EU recovery funds. Spain has brushed off corporate concerns about its management of billions of euros of EU recovery funds, insisting it has reached cruising speed in developing investment plans and would meet strict audit standards to secure its next batch of money. The country was the first to receive a payment from the EU's pandemic recovery funds last year and is due to receive a total of 140 billion euros, making it the bloc's second biggest recipient after Italy. But Spain's experience has been rocky, highlighting the uphill task countries face in managing the 800 billion euro program, which aims to repair damage inflicted by COVID-19 and make economies greener. Nadia Calviño, Spain's deputy prime minister and economy minister, insisted its plans were on track and dismissed complaints that funds were being doled out too slowly. So there has been a fair bit of criticism in the press recently about the use of these European Union recovery funds. A lot of money on the table, of course, and a lot of money for Spain to change its economy, which is the objective of the European Union, to make Spain a greener economy. They're throwing money at different town halls around the country to try to get them to change the style of the cities, make them more bike-friendly. We saw the other day an article saying that Spain is becoming a bike-friendly country. Bike lanes going up all over the place. Another question is whether people will use the bike lanes, because as we know, a lot of people here in Spain don't use transports like bike to go to work every day. They prefer to travel by car. Maybe at the weekends people will use the bike lanes, but during the week, that's another story. So we'll see in a few years' time whether it has been a good investment or not. And also these low emission zones that are becoming more and more common around Spanish cities with more than 50,000 people. Old cars are being forced out of the system. If you've got an old diesel car or an old petrol car, your days are numbered with that if you live in a city. If you live in a small town, it's another story. But if you live in a city here in Spain, days are numbered if you have one of those cars. So moving towards that green economy. And as I said, there have been some questions being thrown at the government recently about whether or not they are spending the money or where the money's going and if it is being spent quickly enough, because more apparently is on the way. So interesting. We'll see what happens there. Now, I'll just put the little like icon on the screen. There we go. So if you haven't hit the like button, please do so just below the video, and we'll see if we can get up to 50 likes by the time I come back. I had a new setup today, which was a dog cam, but the dog has moved since I started recording this evening. So if she comes back to that spot, I'll turn the dog cam on. But for the time being, she's missing in action. So we'll see if she comes back to her regular spot there on the couch beside me. All right, good. What else we got going on here in the chat section? Philip coming in, we said, at last back from Malaga. Cher Rubio coming in from Guadalajara, Mexico. Alan, another regular viewer, coming in from the UK. Jan coming in from a rainy London, wishing that they were back in Spain. And Bill coming in from York, sunshine and showers. So a bit of a mixed bag there in Yorkshire, United Kingdom. Babs also coming in from Wales. Let us know what the weather's like in Wales today, Babs, in your part of Wales anyway. All right, second piece of news today. And the first conviction in Spain for spreading fake news. A civil guard accepts 15 months in jail for defaming menace with a fake video.
Fake news, just fake news.
That's right, fake news, just fake news. The tweeter JJM accepted a sentence of 15 months imprisonment and a fine of €1,620, in addition to not being able to work as a teacher for 5 years, but for publishing and disseminating fake news with the aim of defaming vulnerable groups, in this case, unaccompanied minors. The word MENA that we saw before, meaning unaccompanied minors, people that come to Spain without their parents, basically. The defendant admitted in the trial to disseminating a false video on social networks that made a MENA out to be the perpetrator of an assault that had in fact taken place in China. Specifically, the defendant committed a crime against fundamental rights and public freedoms, and, according to the prosecutor, he acted motivated by his animosity and rejection of foreign immigrants of Moroccan origin, when on the 1st of July 2019 he published a video that he claimed corresponded to a rape that had occurred days earlier in Canet de Mar. So the first conviction for spreading fake news. And as we can see, a police officer, a civil guard officer with a hate of North Africans, Moroccans in this particular case, and especially the young Moroccans that come to Spain without their parents. They cross over in boats or on trucks or however they get here, and no parents in sight. They're all around 11, 12, 13, 14 years of age. They come here because their parents, I think, send them looking for a better life for them, because as we know, in Morocco, there are people still have big families. Here in Spain, that is not the case. So they come to Spain looking for more opportunities than they get in Morocco. And as we can see there, some people don't like it and creating fake news stories around it. And a police officer, as we said there. So another example of fake news.
Fake news, just fake news.
That's right, Donald, fake news, just fake news. All right, good. Now, what else we got going on here in the chat section today? Remy coming in from Saint Feliu. Janet coming in from Oxford, all regular viewers. Barbara, another regular viewer. Joe, the fireman. Joe El Bombero. Que tal? Tobias back in the chat. Haven't seen him for a while. Been very busy in Alabama, apparently. Pat coming in from Galicia. Ronnie coming in from Atalaya Park, Benejofar. And Barbara, as we know, the Playa Flamenca. Angela also coming in as well. And Killian coming in from a cold and blustery Dublin. It was great to see Real Madrid lose last night. Hopefully the wheels are falling off the Madrid wagon. Don't know, Killian, they did lose yesterday to Rayo Vallecano, which is another Madrid team just down the road here in Vallecas at a little clay pot stadium. It's the only way you could describe it compared to the Bernabeu or some of the other biggest stadiums here in Spain. It's one of these local neighborhood stadiums where people in surrounding apartments can watch the game for free. And I think even half of the stadium's being reformed or renovated and no crowds in it. So, Real Madrid, losing a game yesterday. Not sure where they sit on the table this year. Not sure who's out in front. Maybe Barcelona. I'd have to check. I'm not a huge fan of soccer or Spanish football, as you guys know. All right, good. Now, let's have a look. Third piece of news. The transport workers who brought Spain to a standstill in March are calling a new indefinite strike from Sunday. The Platform in Defence of Transport, the grouping of self-employed and small freight transport companies that paralysed the country for 20 days during the strike last March, has announced this Monday a new indefinite nationwide strike from midnight next Sunday, the 13th. The new protest is due to the failure to comply with the agreements reached by the main associations with the Ministry of Transport, Mobility and Urban Agenda, MITMA, to alleviate the situation of the sector and the increase in costs due to the rise in the price of fuel. In particular, they denounced the repeated violation by companies that hire their services of the law prohibiting truck drivers from working at a loss or below cost in the absence of control in its application due to the lack of inspections. So truck drivers, they're complaining that they're working at a loss or below cost because there's no controls in place. Companies taking advantage of their services and agreeing to go on strike again. And if you remember back in March when that last transport workers strike took place, there were some problems on supermarket shelves, problems getting milk, problems getting some other essential items like that, eggs and things like that. Were missing for a while there in the Spanish supermarkets. They were rationed, I think, even there for a while, and hopefully that's not going to be the case again, or hopefully it won't be as severe, and the government can step in and see if they can talk these people out of going on strike. But the other aspect is that the retail sector in Spain is alarmed because Black Friday and Christmas are coming up when a lot of people do their shopping for Christmas, of course, taking advantage of the Black Friday sales. And we can see here that unless there are last-minute surprises, the early hours of Sunday the 13th to the 14th on Monday will mark the start of a new indefinite national strike. The situation may be even more serious now on the eve of two key consumer campaigns in Spain, Black Friday, which has boosted e-commerce logistics, and the Christmas season, a time of big purchases. So we'll see, and no doubt this is the objective of these transport workers, to put pressure on various sectors so that the government does cave in to their demands and doesn't disrupt this busy retail sector. Because as we know, if you're here in Spain, you would have seen lots of Black Friday sales up already. In fact, it's not only a Black Friday day anymore, it's more of a Black Friday month. And a lot of small retailers are complaining that the big retailers are just too aggressive with these discounts over this period, because I think originally it was only one day, Black Friday, whatever day that was, but now it's turned into a month of discounts. And the big retailers, as I said, the MediaMarkts, the Corte Ingleses, the Leroy Merlins, all of the big retailers are very aggressive in the month of November with the discounts, and small retailers, as I said, complaining. But anyway, now I'll put the like button back on the screen. So if you haven't hit it, please yet, do it just below, please, in the just below the video. Sorry, you can find the like button. We'll see if we can get up to 100 likes today, which could be realistic. We'll see. It just depends how many people come into the live stream watching, of course. Now back into the chat section. The dog hasn't returned to the couch, so no dog cam yet. Maybe she'll jump up on the couch soon. Who knows? Mark coming in from Murcia. Hello, Mark. Andrew, another person coming in from a wet southeast London. A bit wet there in the UK today, or in the south of the United Kingdom. Here today also, there was a threat of rain, but I don't think it rained in the end. Maybe a few drops, but nothing more than that. Lorenzo, Toledo photo was the capital of Spain before Madrid. I think that was the case, Lorenzo, and that was the thumbnail today. Toledo, fantastic photo of that city, of the old Toledo. There's a lot of difference between the old Toledo and the new Toledo. The new Toledo doesn't live up to the architectural splendor of the old city. The new city is a bit of a disappointment, in fact, but what can we do? Obviously not a lot of money going around when new Toledo was built. All right, what else we got going on here? Blind Spots Traveller coming in from Iceland. They're on business, flying to Madrid direct, apparently from Iceland nowadays. Brian coming in from La Marina, still in the 20s there. Cooler at night, good to see. I wouldn't mind a 20-degree day every day, Brian. 22, 23 would be fantastic. Alan asking, any news from La Palma? Don't know, Alan. What's happened down there? Hope another volcano hasn't erupted down there, I don't think. Well, Gina coming in from the United States. Hello, Gina. Hope all is well. Chris coming in from Alora in the Valley of the Sun, down there in Malaga. And Michelle coming in from Vigo. Thanks for the live streams and videos, she says. Thank you very much for watching. And Miguel coming in from a wet Derbyshire, there also in the south of England, I believe. Or I could be wrong. I'm not sure where Derbyshire is. But anyway, let us know. Now, the word of the day related to the general topic, which is strike, huelga. Examples: El transporte vuelve a la huelga. Transport strikes again. So a common word here in Spain. And if you're reading the press at the moment or watching the news on a daily basis, the word huelga will come up very, very frequently indeed, because not only are we going to have a transport strike next week, we've got a doctor's strike in Madrid from the 21st of this month. Renfe, the rail operator, had a big strike yesterday. Various airlines are striking as well. Vueling, Ryanair, EasyJet, they're all striking. So strikes galore in Spain. The unions are calling people to take to the streets. I think they're threatening some type of rebellion if wages are not increased. So chaos for the Spanish government at the moment, and we'll see how they deal with it. But bad times here in Spain. A general strike hasn't been called because general strikes only normally happen when the current opposition party is in power, the Partido Popular, or at least recently, back in the 1980s, general strikes were called when the socialists were in power. But the only general strikes that I can remember in recent times are when the Partido Popular is in power, and of course the unions, the number one enemy of the Partido Popular, quite often take to the streets, or at least they have done over the last decade or so with the general strikes. But no talk of a general strike yet, fortunately. Now, what else we got going on in the chat section? Joe saying, great with the dog. Yeah, but unfortunately the dog is not cooperating today, Joe. She's still sitting over there in the corner, doesn't want to get on the couch for some reason. What else we got going on? Makish coming in, loves the lives. Looks forward to them as evening entertainment. Thank you very much, Makish. The likes are a little bit, the live streams are a little bit hit and miss with some viewers. Some people like them, some people hate them. But as we all know, I like doing live streams because there's less editing involved. And you can get 30 or 35 minutes of video out without having to go through that tedious editing process, which can be very time-consuming as well. Mark coming in from Mallorca. Still having great weather, cooler nights. Hopefully it'll sort the mosquitoes out. They've been terrible this year. I've heard that's a problem there in some of the Mediterranean parts of Spain, Mark, the mosquito issue. I've heard it's a problem in Alicante, Valencia, places like that, and also in the Balearics. So hopefully the cold weather will get rid of them. Nothing worse than a mosquito buzzing around the room at night. All right, like button coming back on the screen now. Please, if you haven't hit the like button, please do so. Just below the video, you'll find it. We'll see if we can get up to 100. We're not far off. All right, a couple more chats. Let's see. Mia is camera shy. Yes, she seems to be. She's been sitting there all afternoon, and now she's all of a sudden gone. So maybe it is because of the cameras. She doesn't want to be on the screen. I'll just put the dog cam back and we can see that it's still vacant. I'll see if I can call her onto the screen in a minute, onto the couch in a minute, so you guys can see her at least. Now, first comment. Let's have a look. From Martin. Hola, Stuart. Muchas gracias por el video. Prices are rising everywhere. Yes, that is true. Going to Turkey tomorrow for 2 weeks. Did some research, and one lady said that a lot of prices have doubled. Closing the world down for a couple of years, near enough, has its consequences. Very true, Martin, very true. Shutting the world down because of COVID has had its consequences, as we can see with the rising costs at the moment because of the high inflation and government struggling. But let's be honest, they printed a lot of money back in the day, and now it's having the due effect. And we're all in the same boat when it comes to high inflation, unfortunately. But what can we do? We are just mere pieces of the puzzle. What else have we got going on here? Let's have a look. 3 Ps in a pod. Hola, boas noites, or boas noches. Not sure whether that's Spanish or Portuguese. Amanda's in the chat section, another regular viewer. Daryl, another regular viewer here. No rain in Barcelona, but apparently next week there's going to be a lot, according to Daryl. I think Barcelona is in need of rain, so hopefully you'll get a bit there. Babs has got back to us from Wales, wet and windy. Didn't expect anything less than from Wales, Babs. Wet and windy there. Ronnie coming in from Benny Hoffer, I think that is. Not sure if that's a spelling mistake. And John wishing me a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The 8th of November. Thanks, John. I'll put that one away for a little bit later when Christmas comes around, but thank you very much for that. And what else we got going on? Sani coming in from Basingstoke. And what else? Gina coming in from an unusually warm Birmingham, Alabama. I thought it was Birmingham, UK, but Birmingham, Alabama. All right, there we go. So sunny and unusually warm there, according to Gina. Now, another comment. Let's have a look at this one. Vanessa, the Spanish must keep the siesta. It's part of the culture. I am English, living in Spain, and look forward to my afternoon siesta for about an hour. Recommend them now. It's a complete myth saying people can't sleep at night as they have a siesta. Equally saying eating late causes digestive problems. Spanish have always eaten late and they don't seem to suffer. So many English here will not adapt to the Spanish culture and want to bring their lifestyles from the UK over here. It's rather sad as they are missing out on life here. Yeah, I think this is related to the siesta issue that we spoke about yesterday. Somebody asked if here in Spain the siesta is still common. I said that in big cities, not really. In some other parts of the country, maybe in the provinces, in some of the smaller cities, the provincial capitals, maybe, because people can get home from their jobs easily. Whereas here in Madrid, it's normally for a lot of people, it's a serious commute, whether by car or train or metro or something like that. And people prefer to have a shorter lunch break and get back to work and finish early, which is logical. But in some of the smaller cities, country towns, of course, when the business is shut down during that 2 or 3 hour period, it is common for people to go home, have lunch. I don't know whether they sleep, because obviously I don't have a window into everybody's home, but maybe they just have a long lunch. Maybe they sit down on the couch, watch a bit of mid-afternoon TV after the news, and some of them might nod off. Don't know if they are working in one of those jobs that does stop. A lot of companies go all the way through nowadays. That's not so common. But it is interesting to see that person's point of view there, and saying that Vanessa saying that she has adapted totally to the Spanish way of life, and the siesta is not the cause of sleep issues in this country, according to her, and Spanish people don't have digestive problems because they have a late dinner. So an interesting point of view. Now, as you can see, I've changed the background. This is either Barbate or another place down there in Andalusia, I think, called Mathagon. So I don't know which one it is. It's either one of the two, because Sam sent me, it's from Sam in Seville. He sent me quite a few pictures. So I'm not sure whether this is Barbate in Cádiz or Mathagon in Huelva, but it's either one of the two. So thank you very much, Sam, for that picture. And if you've got a picture that you would like to see in the back on the back here on the green screen, spainspeaks@gmail.com, and I will get around to putting it up eventually. All right, good. What else we got going on? Prasen coming in from Seattle. Cold there tonight. Coming in a bit late today. No problem. Real Madrid second in the Liga now, according to Prasen, behind Barcelona. That's right. Barcelona has a clearer run, I think, in the league now, Prasen, because they're out of the Champions League. I think they're in the Europa League currently, but Real Madrid continues in the Champions, so they've got a tougher schedule. But thanks for that, Prasen. Anthony coming in from L'Ametlla de Mar, Catalonia. Not sure where that place is there, even if I pronounced it correctly, not sure. L'Ametlla de Mar, Catalonia. Don't know where it is, but it sounds like a nice place at least there, somewhere on the sea. Steve coming in from Sudbury, Suffolk. And Andrew coming in saying that Campello, San Juan and Villajoyosa are really nice places and well worth the visit here in Spain. Thank you very much, Andrew, for your input. Now, let's go back to the comments from previous videos. Let's have a look at this one here. From Julian used to be in favor of legalizing marijuana, but now living in the Netherlands, I see that there is a risk in turning your country into a narco state as was warned by Police Chief Pieter Jaap Allersberg. There we go. So Julian not in favour of the legalisation of cannabis, which we've also spoke about a bit in recent times, given the amount of huge drug busts that have been taking place here in Spain recently. And a lot of the cannabis that is captured in those raids is for Northern European markets. So it's grown down here in Spain and sent to the north of Europe into countries like, no doubt, the Netherlands or Germany or further countries to the north, because they don't have the growing conditions, obviously, that Spain has, and the output capacity that obviously Spain seems to have. But there's always two sides to the story. Some people are in favour of legalising marijuana. There were a few other comments from people in the States saying that revenues are up in some states. Somebody said Washington State revenues are up 500 million euros because of the legalisation of marijuana. Other people saying that it can be positive if it's done correctly. But this comment here from Julian saying that there is a risk that you turn your country into a narco state. Now, not sure what they mean by narco state, whether it's, like the situation in a country like Mexico, where narco dollars have gotten into a lot of levels of the government, or whether it's just the criminal gangs that are operating in a country like the Netherlands, not sure. But you have to do it correctly, I imagine, if you're going to do it at all. But black market or taxes for society, that's the question. All right, back into the chat section here. Let's see what's going on. Marianne coming in from New Orleans, 84 degrees and sunny. What else we got going on here? Power plant workers demonstrating for extra pay at the Vanderlos plant, apparently, says Anthony. Lots of strikes on at the moment. People are trying to get their wages increased because of the high inflation. It's all logical. What else we got going on here? Steve also adding to the debate on strikes. It's not great to strike, but it's usually a last resort of workers that have reached deadlock with deaf bosses. These companies are often making fortunes off the back of their workers. Yes, Steve, thanks for the input there. I don't think people like to strike, but sometimes it is a last resort, as Steve has put forward there. Thanks for that. What else we got going on? What's Huelga General, according to Daryl, there will be many next year. Could be the case, Daryl, but I don't know if there's a socialist government in power, whether there will be general strikes. Things would have to be pretty bad for that to happen. But if the government changes next year and the Partido Popular come into power, you could almost put your money down on the table now that there will be a general strike, because that's the way the unions operate. Now, the dog has moved, but she's not on the couch. As we can see here, the dog cam's still empty. She's sitting at my feet at the moment, and I can't turn the dog cam around to show you guys that, but she's just down here on the floor. So her next move might be the couch. So we'll wait and see. We've got 10 minutes or 12 minutes left, so we'll see if her next move is indeed the couch. Let's see. All right, we're up to 121 likes. Let's put the little like icon back on the screen. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so just below the video. And we'll see if we can get up to 130, 140 today, which could be possible. Let's see. All right, another comment here. Buenos dias. Oh, sorry, from Buenos Dias. There we go. Hi, Stuart. Funny spelling of my name. I must say I love your content, and especially the way how you tell them is so comic, but sometimes very serious too. Do you really think there could be a revolution if Spain increased their alcohol and tobacco taxes equal to Canada or Australia and Australia? I must think that you were being sarcastic and that there could be no such thing as a revolution. However, only a man that has spent a long time in Spain really knows how Spain actually works. For me, I'm the ones that doesn't have a clue. Yeah, a little bit tongue-in-cheek yesterday, Buenos Dias, with that comment. I said that here in Spain, alcohol and cigarettes are kept fairly cheap, especially if you compare it to what you pay in countries like Australia. And people are going to say, well, the wages in Australia or salaries are higher in Australia. I don't think that's got anything to do with it, because a packet of cigarettes in Australia, you pay around 30 or 40 Australian dollars, which if you compare that with what you pay here, around €5, it's a huge difference. And alcohol also very, very expensive in Australia. To go and have a pint of beer at a pub, you can pay $10, $11, $12, $13, sometimes even more depending on the place. Whereas here in Spain, a pint you can pick up for $2.50 if you go to the right place. So huge differences between the price of alcohol. And coffee is another thing that is always cheap in Spain because it's something that people expect to be affordable, and alcohol as well. Now, some of the prices that we saw yesterday when it comes to wine, I mean, you can get a bottle of wine in the supermarket for €1.50. Is it drinkable? I don't know. It depends on your taste. I have bought wine for €1.50, €1.60, €1.70, but I mix it with gaseosa or casera. I turn it into a tinto de verano on a hot summer's day. And it's reasonable if you mix it with something like that. I don't think you could drink it on its own unless you had a fairly strange appreciation of wine. But whiskey, €8-9 at the supermarket, sometimes even less. For the home brands, gin, the same. Vodka, the same. Rum, the same. So alcohol, very, very cheap here in Australia. But I don't think there would be a revolution if they went to those prices. It was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, of course, but people would protest. As we know at the moment, bars are protesting. I think there was a bar strike today. Bar owners around the country were turning their lights off for 5 or 10 minutes in protest at rising prices, saying that customers are dropping off. They're not ordering as they would normally order. But it's always been the way that the bar scene here in Spain, smokers scene here in Spain, have always had access to cheap goods. So that's always been the case. And if they did go up to those exorbitant Australian prices or maybe Canadian prices, not sure what you pay there, but if you had to pay 40 or 35 euros for a packet of cigarettes here, there would be a huge increase in the black market, I would say. I'll leave it at that. But just my opinion. All right, good. Now, what else we got going on? Mugger thought the Ryanair strike was over. It could be over, Mugger. I read that in the paper that they talked about Ryanair and EasyJet as well, but it could be over, Mugger. But Welling is definitely striking at the moment. Yesterday they were on strike, and I think the weekend as well. Jan also saying that in the UK or London, trains, tube and nurses threatening to strike. Everybody's threatening to strike, it seems, Jan. Here in Spain, no different. And what else we got going on here? Here we go. Miguel, a huelga general will not be called with Podemos in government. When the government changes, I'm sure that that will be very violent. There will be very violent strikes. Yeah, I think so, Miguel. That's normally the way it works here. The anti-Partido Popular and anti-Partido Popular policies, and they do try to disrupt the country when that party is in power, as we have seen over the last, or at least I've seen over the last 20 or so years that I've been here. All right, what else we got going on? Plenty of activity in the chat section today, so good to see. A lot of interaction between viewers as well there. So thank you very much for that. Now, I'm going to change the background screen. Let's have a look for a next one. This one here coming in from Michael. And the picture is Calpe down there in Alicante. Michael is from Australia, from a place called Corowa, I think, which has been underwater recently because of the Murray River flooding down there. But recently in Spain was Michael, and this is a picture that he took of Calpe. So a nice Mediterranean view there. Unfortunately, I can't get the full photo that he sent because this program that I use crops it to some extent. But we can see the famous rock there and a bit of the high-rise activity going on there in Calpe. So thank you very much for that, Michael. Now, remember that if you've got a pic that you would like to see in the background, spainspeaks@gmail.com, send it in and I will get around to putting it up. So please send them in. All right, what else we got going on here? What else we got going on here in the chat section? Let me see if I can find something here quickly. Killian asking the question, is Birmingham, Alabama as dangerous as Birmingham, UK? Well, I think we've set the record straight on Birmingham, UK. It's not as dangerous as somebody pointed out the other day, apparently. Somebody left a comment saying that the other comment was out of order, that Birmingham has changed. It's no longer a dangerous city at night, especially when the pub's shut. which, as we know, back in the day was a problem in a lot of cities around the world when the pub shut, especially where I come from as well. But according to the comment the other day, it's all changed. But let us know if Birmingham, Alabama has the same issues. Let's see. All right, what else we got going on? Sam's got back to us. That one was Badabate. Thank you very much, Sam, for pointing that out. I'm not sure because you sent in about 6 photos, so I wasn't sure which one was Badabate or which one was the other place there in Huelva. So thanks for setting it straight. All right, another comment. Let's have a look. One here from Tracy. So sad to say that Spain is dead to most ordinary British people or families unless you are a pensioner. After Brexit, Spain has made it almost impossible to work legally and absolutely impossible to become a resident. Now, I saw this comment here from Tracy and I just had to reword it a touch. So sad to say that Spain is dead to most ordinary British people or families unless you are a pensioner. Brexit has made it almost impossible to work legally and absolutely impossible to become a resident. It's got nothing to do with Spain, Tracy. Spain is just putting the rules in place that have been there for all third countries up until now. When I first came to Spain from Australia, which has never been part of the European Union, and I don't think Australia will ever be part of the European Union, even though we participate in the Eurovision Song Contest for whatever reason. I've got no idea. But I don't think Australia will ever become part of the European Union. Therefore, we have to go through third-party rules and regulations to move to a country like Spain, and they are exactly the same as what the UK have to put up with now. And it's not Spain, it's leaving the European Union. It's as simple as that. So thanks, Tracy, for your input, but I just had to correct that there. All right, good. What else we got going on? Rich asking the question, what's the situation with Gibraltar and Spain? Got no idea, Rich. I think it's the same as it has been for the last 300 years or whenever Britain claimed that rock down there. I don't think anything has changed recently. The border's open. People are crossing the border to and fro to go to work every day. And as far as I know, nothing has changed regarding Gibraltar. But if anybody has more information, please let us know in the chat section what's going on down there. All right, what else we got going on here? Let's have a look. John JJ. Prohibition only feeds massive criminal gangs. What do you want people, who do you want people to buy it from? The criminals or a shop where it can be taxed? Yeah, that's an interesting point there, John. Do you give the money to the criminal organizations in the black economy to feed their lavish lifestyles? Or do you buy it from a shop where it might be a little bit more expensive and the tax goes into the government coffers and they can fund the schools or the hospitals or the roads or whatever they want to fund with that money? That's the question. For me, it's fairly clear, but for a lot of people, they don't see it that way. But thanks for the comment there, John, or the chat. All right, now another one here. Let's have a look. That one from Tracy that we just saw. This one here from Karen. Here in the Alpujarra, Granada area, shops and grocery stores close from 2 to 5. Yes, I think that's common, as I said before, in the regional parts of the country. Here in Madrid, you don't really see a lot of shops closing from 2 to 5 unless they are sole proprietors and they're keeping such long hours, opening till 8:30 p.m. that they have to shut at lunchtime in order to have something to eat, have a bit of a rest. Because if you open from 10 o'clock to 8 p.m., it's a long day. So that's what happens. But the big department stores and the majority of the shops nowadays are chains or franchises. They don't normally close. Small operators will, but the rest won't. The Chinese-owned shops in the area don't close. They're open from 10 to 12, more or less. Very long hours for those shops. But here in Madrid or on the outskirts of Madrid, a lot of businesses opening the whole day and not having that 3-hour break, which is common in, as I said, some of the regional areas, the provincial areas. Recently, I went to a provincial capital, Albacete, and you could see that everything shut down at 2 o'clock there, except for the big department stores, the Zaras, the Pull and Bears, things like that. But the rest of the businesses did close, and people can get home in a city like Albacete because you're probably only 5-10 minutes away from where you work, whereas here in Madrid, you can be 30, 35, 45, an hour away from where you are, and it just doesn't make sense to go home for lunch unless you want to be even more rushed than you already are. But anyway, thanks for the comment. Now back into the chat section. What else we got going on here now? Gerard coming in from Palma de Mallorca. Gino coming in from Canada. What else? Let's go. Rich was talking about an agreement apparently down there in Gibraltar. Not really sure what's going on there, Rich, but I'm sure somebody will fill you in. Miguel saying that higher taxes on booze will increase the number of uncontrolled botellones. It might do, but you can always pick up a cheap bottle from a retailer, Miguel. So I'm sure that it'll just cost a few extra euros for the botellon because, as we know, they all chip in for a bottle. And it gets shared around various people. The old botellon, which is a big thing here on Friday and Saturday night, or at least in this part of Madrid, it is. All right, now I'm up to 41 minutes, or almost 42, 146 likes. So I'm just going to put the little like icon back on the screen. So if you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so just below the video. We'll see if we can get up to 150. Now, I'm going to cut the video short. The dog has not made it onto the couch, as we can see there. Her spot lies vacant. She's still sitting here at my feet. Hopefully, she will cooperate for the next live stream because I've got the the dog cam set up over there. So that'll be back in action on Thursday. So hope to see everybody then. Now, remember, if you've got a background pic that you would like to see on the channel, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free, send it in, and I'll get it up there over the next few weeks. Thank you very much for your participation today. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks to everybody that wrote something in the chat section. Good to see, and I'll see everybody on Thursday at the same time. Hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios.